Hi, I'm Stefanie Wainwright. I'm a wife, a mom, a business owner, and my life is chaotic all the time. So I created this podcast to help you find the funny, the good, while navigating through the chaos. This is Chaotic Compass Podcast.
Every time it's a fiasco. It's just as much work as it takes to actually set it up and then break it back down. It's becoming a lot. I need my own place to record this, not just my desk where I work on a daily basis. I need my own space. Hint, hint, hubby. He literally came in here and he was like, that looks sketch as fuck, because where I've got my camera, I've got a couple of boxes and I've got like my ring light, and it's not the greatest. Okay. It is sketch as fuck. Okay. I'm trying my best. Okay. Don't come at me. So let's pull this back a little bit. Hi, my name is Stefanie. If you were looking for organized, very clear cusp to, beautiful backgrounds, that's not the place. Okay. I'm literally in a sweatshirt. I don't even have mascara on. I was like, I should dress up for this and I need to do my makeup. And guess the fuck what? My daughter has stolen my mascara. I don't even have mascara right now. So it's a hot mess. Okay. So if you are hot mess people, you've come to the right place. So thank you very much for showing up. Again, my name is Stefanie. This is Chaotic Compass Podcast. Wow. What? Hey, my name is Stefanie and this is Chaotic Compass Podcast. And I sip and I bitch and I talk about all the things either that I'm working through, that I've experienced, or something that somebody has written in, and I kind of give my 2 cents worth. So take it or leave it. That's what I'm here for. Just putting the word out, hoping that I reach one person and that they don't feel alone with their circumstance. So tonight's episode, I'm going to dive into manifesting. I have seen this a lot lately, and I feel like this is pulling on me to put this out there and give my 2 cents worth of what that looks like for me, how I do that. And so it's not just woo woo or hippie, it's an actual thing, and I have evidence to prove that. So, but before we do that, so every episode I sip on something alcoholic, of course. Okay. Because it's Thursday night and I don't have any kids in my face, and this is my time to, this is my therapy. Okay, you guys. And so my therapy consists of alcohol, and if that's the right way to handle it, probably not, but it is what it is. And so, and let's just face it, it isn't just Thursday nights where Stefanie drinks. Okay, let's be real. Okay. But moving past tonight, because I'm wearing a sweatshirt, and it's October, and Stefanie has begrudgingly been not getting into the fall spirit. Ryan, my husband, he is actually with 2 of the 4 kids off at the fall festival. So I figured, you're wearing a sweatshirt, Stefanie. It's officially fall. Come on, it's October. Okay, so we have switched it up. So summer, I drink vodka and tonics, and in the fall and winter, it's officially fall, you guys, and I'm having a hard time grasping that because I'm still wearing flip-flops, okay? Because I wear a bunch of shirts in the morning and sweatpants, and then by midday, I'm in a t-shirt, and I would really like to be in shorts, okay? So I drink Captain and Coke. This is Captain 100, okay, because that's how much of an alcoholic Stefanie is. It's fine, don't worry about it. So Captain 100 and just regular Coke. Sometimes my husband will do not Diet Coke. No, we don't do diet in this house. So he does he does caffeine free, not Captain free. He is a Captain, and Captain is our rum that we drink. Anyways, he loves Sailor Jerry. I don't like the taste of Sailor Jerry. Anyways, I drink Captain Morgan and Cokes, and this is Captain 100 and a regular Coke. Have you ever tried regular Coke? It's hard for me to drink regular Coke. I tried to do that the other day we were at a restaurant, and I was like, this tastes horrible, because I don't drink Coke. If I'm drinking any soda, it's going to be a Sprite. So if I do drink a Coke and it doesn't have Captain in it, it tastes like pure shit to me. and that's how much of an alcoholic that I am. So anyways, I'm keeping it summary with my my flamingo cup, if you can see that. By the way, I'm on YouTube officially again. I record my episodes and then I post them not only to Spotify and to Apple Podcast, which trickles out to all the other podcast places, but I put it on YouTube. So you can see my pretty non-mascara face, and I'm in a sweatshirt, and I'm here. Okay, I'm here. I'm doing my best, guys. Okay. So cheers, 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 cheers. Okay, wow. I did that a little too strong. Anyways, so manifesting. What is manifesting? Manifesting can be any kind of term. It's anything that you're putting out there. You're asking the universe, God, whatever higher entity that you believe in, you're asking that for something. And you have to be very specific. We'll get into that in a second. But with manifesting, there is a lot of things that you can do wrong and manifest negative things. It's literally just what you're thinking about. So if you're thinking about, because you've got a lot of bills due and you're thinking about, wow, it would be really nice if I had just enough money, you're really not thinking about the bigger term. You're literally thinking about the lack thereof. Or if you are wishing your honeyboo was in your life and you're thinking about the lack thereof of your amazing honeyboo in your life. I just sent this to my husband today it was 2014. This is about a year. No, it was less than a year. So that's October of 2014. So a few months later, in January of 2015, I met Ryan. Trauma bonded over horrible breakups because, that's what people do. And so in 2014, before I'd ever met Ryan, I posted this on Facebook. Is it so hard to, just wish that the bills to be paid, that their food be in the fridge, and somebody to share a cup of coffee with me in the mornings? And so I screenshotted that and I sent that to my husband this morning. It was like, because there was so many people that I had been with that don't drink coffee. I don't even know how you don't drink coffee. And if you don't, I apologize. I'm not coming at you. That's what I was looking for in my life, and I found that. So that's one instance where I put it out to the world, and I knew that it's going to come, and I just need to be patient. And I was literally in a really not great relationship, and it wasn't, it wasn't horrible as far as abusive or anything like that. It was just you're in a relationship at the wrong time. I should have just been single. I should have just worked on me. And instead of that, I was trying to, be with somebody that shouldn't have been with people, shouldn't have been with anybody themselves, because he was very distant, working through his own stuff. And so we were not in the relationship to be with each other. We were literally starting to work through our traumas. So when I put that out there, it was like, wow, that would be so nice to wake up in the morning to have somebody that drinks a cup of Joe with me. And I have that. And so I'm not trying to brag. Okay. I'm just saying that that's what I manifested. So I came in terms with manifesting. It was 2018. I had found Rachel Hollis. She had written a book about Girl, Wash Your Face. And I read that book and I was like, wow, it was all the lies that you're telling yourself, and how you should work through them. And then she wrote another book. Yeah, this one was Girl, Stop Apologizing. And in this one, I think I've got that backwards. Anyways, in one of these books, she dives into her process of her daily gratitude journal. So every morning she wakes up and she writes down at least 5 things that she's super grateful for. And those are not like yes, you can be grateful for the house you live in. And yes, you can be grateful for your significant other. And yes, you can be grateful for your kids or your pet or your job. But those are not specific. I'm talking specific. Like right now, last night we had all 4 kids. Wednesday nights are when we have every single human in this house, and it's chaotic. I'm downstairs and we are either watching the news or something, and we hear elephants upstairs. And I was like, wow, what the hell is going on with that? All 4 kids last night were playing monkey in the middle and actually getting along. I'm grateful for that moment. And so it was one of those like, wow, what in the world? Because usually number 1 and number 2 are always bickering, and there's always something going, or number 2 and number 4, or it usually has to do with number 2. Okay. He's the shit. He thinks he's the shit, but he can be a little shithead. And so it's always beef with number 2. But last night they were getting along hardcore. It was so crazy. And to hear them giggling, that's something that I love to hear. And I've always, since I've been a mom of multiple kids, to hear my kids giggling, pure gold. That is I have the most gratitude right there for that moment. And I had that last night. So when you write down things that you are grateful for, you have to be very specific. But it's not necessarily writing down the things that you're grateful for. It's getting in that mind space of being thankful and grateful for what you have. So once you write those things down, now you're literally thinking about your future. You're thinking about 10 years from now, what would that look like? Where are you going to be at in 10 years? Where do you want to be at in 10 years? What would you like to happen in 10 years? Now, when you're thinking about this, you're literally playing it over, like you're walking through it like it's a movie. You're going through this like it's a movie in your head. And for some people, visualizations are hard. So you might just want to write that down, just start journaling and then write all of the things down that you want to happen in 10 years. And if 10 years sounds too crazy, which 2014, Stefanie, because she literally had broken up. She literally had separated from her husband at the beginning of the year because she found out she was being cheated on. I don't know why I'm referring to myself in the third person, but we're going with it. But I had found out my husband was cheating on me at the beginning of 2014. And I was not in a good place the whole year for 2014. I tried my best and I tried to find moments. I drank a lot. I had a hard time looking past the weekend. So I was just trying to get through that week and get to Friday and Saturday, whether that be a weekend with my kids, whether that be a weekend of drinking by myself, whatever that looked like. I could only get through a week at a time. So if 10 years sounds daunting, well, what does 5 years look like? What does 1 year look like? What does 6 months? You got to just be a little bit bigger than where you're at right now. When I was at a week at a time, it was really hard for me to think 6 months, but I pushed myself. I'm like, what does Stefanie want? And I literally, that's why I had written that on Facebook. I was like, wow, it would just be so nice if all of my bills were paid, I had enough food in the refrigerator, and to listen to my kids giggle and drink a cup of joe with somebody that I love in the morning, or share a cup of joe with somebody that I love in the morning. I kind of just put that out there and then just let it be. And that was a pivotal moment for me in October of 2014, because I was like, I'm either worthy of being loved or I'm not. Now, fast forward to Memorial Day in 2015, Stefanie was having a hell of a time. But at that moment in October of 2014, I had a little bit of wisdom that I was trying to, and my mental health hadn't deteriorated so badly just yet. I was working through, pushing through. So fast forward through all of this. In 2018, I read these books. I had found Rachel Hollis. I had found something that I had been practicing without really knowing what it was. So in 2014 and 2015, before Ryan and I had gotten together, I was always looking for the bigger thing. I had a vision of my mind that I always wanted a big family, and I knew my body was done having kids, but I was determined somehow, some way, I wanted a big family. And I wanted somebody to love me and cherish me, especially since I had been through a very short marriage with somebody that just didn't value me. And it was hard to see that. How could anybody value me? But I just had that mentality of somebody is going to be out there that's going to just have faith, Steph. But my biggest thing that I had faith in was that the money's going to be there. It's not going to be a lot, but the money's going to be there. And every week I would have enough to just get by. And this was when I was enough money to drive me an hour to work and an hour back from work, to pay for whatever extra that my kids had, to pay for the food that we've got just barely, because I was at a week at a time, because I was getting paid weekly, to feed me lunch. I didn't eat breakfast. I just had coffee for breakfast. I would get a big coffee at the house and take that, and I would never eat breakfast, but I made sure that my kids had enough to eat. And then whatever was left over, I would buy an alcohol. But I had enough. Somehow, some way, my measly $12 an hour job that I drove an hour to was making it somehow. When I think back on that, I'm like, God, like, how did you live? How did that even? But I did. I barely made it, but somehow, some way, I made it. But I had faith. I'm like, the money's going to be there. Just keep pushing through. The money's going to be there. Just keep pushing through. There's another bill that it didn't know about that, and so we're going to keep pushing through. You got this. Keep pushing through. And I did. And it kept pushing through. When I met Ryan, I didn't have any debt. I had no credit card debt. I had no car loans. I had no student loans. I had no loans in my name. Except for I was still on the townhouse with my first husband, but I had no official shit in my name. So that's a big major play on how I got by, is that I didn't have any debt. But I got by. But it was this mentality of there's going to be enough. There's going to be enough. Just you're going to have faith and have faith that there's going to be enough. I didn't have as much faith that there's somebody out there that was going to love me. I just knew that they were out there, just had to figure out where they're at, and just kind of had to weed through the bullshit. But I really wasn't really focused on that. I was just like, wow, this is so lonely. Can you just send me a friend that gets it? Because none of my friends had been through divorces at the time. None of my, I didn't know anybody that had been through a divorce. And I think that was the hardest thing that I had been through. And then when I had met Ryan, and it was like, oh God, I don't want him to go through the struggle that I'm going through. I'm like, okay, try this. Talk, just talk to her and send her roses and I'm like giving him, like, if I was on the other end of this and it was like, gosh, he's trying so hard. And, it was like, it's not working. And I knew it was going to be so hard for him, and to watch it happen, oh, that was so hard. But it was like, I've got somebody that gets it. He's new to the club, but he gets it. I was like, wow, I've got a friend and that understands, and that's been there, and that's got kids in it, that's just trying to do the best for their kids. And it was really nice to have somebody to just gets it. Like a snap of the finger gets it. I get all emotional with that. I keep bouncing around. Please, if you're listening, I swear to God, I have a point. All right, so manifesting. I read the books. I had the mentality of finding your gratitude, and Rachel Hollis was talking about something that I had been doing all along, but I didn't have the name for. I had the faith. I had the faith that it was going to be there. And so manifesting, it's just a term that like what Christians say as prayer. What you put up into the universe can be related to God. So however if you want to put the term in that relates to you, that's cool. But for me, manifesting looks different because I see the universe as being something different than God. And so that's just me, and I don't want to put that on you. So that's why I'm trying to speak in broader terms. So 2019, Stefanie's immersing herself in these books to learn more. And oh my gosh, I became not obsessed, but it was kind of weird. So 2018, when I first found these books at the beginning of that year, I don't know if I just grew a set or whatever, but I was done taking shit. And it's either you're going to respect me for who I am and what I can bring to the table, or I need to find another job. And that was the beginning of 2018. And so I found another job. And then so fast forward to the next year, and it was like, all right, so this isn't working anymore, and we need to figure this out. And so I literally had written out, and I marked these pages in this book. So Rachel Hollis, I'm not trying to like make you go out and buy anything. I'm just preaching. So Rachel Hollis in 2018, 2019 had come out with these journals. And so in them, it's literally at the top of the page, all you do is you write down 5 things that you're grateful for. You visualize what you want for the future, and whether that be 10 years, that's what I would typically do. Visualize what you want for the future, and then you write down 10 goals. But the things about those 10 goals is that you write them as if they've already happened. And so let me give you some examples of teeny tiny Stefanie's first manifestations. Okay. So this is the beginning of 2019. I had been doing this pretty regularly. I've always heard that it takes 14 days to create a habit, but a month to have something that's a part of you, that's a part of your life. And so I really see that in this. And so I'm just going to read some of the things that are in here that I wrote. And I'm writing these things as if they've already happened, but they hadn't happened. But okay, so the first one is I own a Chevy Traverse. I do own a Chevy Traverse now in 2023. This is 2019, March of 2019. I have all 4 kids in York County schools. I do now in 2023. I married my best friend. That one gets me. So those are just 3 examples. I had visualized the things that I have in 2019 in 3 of them. Now, some of them, like owning the Chevy Traverse, so that was March of 2019. So in 6 months, I had purchased that. But I didn't know that because Ryan and I we don't have bank accounts still together. We were still trying to figure out our finances. Ryan was actually in the middle of leaving that job that he was working at then. And so it was like, would we have enough money? And so we were kind of in this long haul, and I didn't know if I wanted really a Chevy Traverse, but it really looked cute and I loved it. Honestly, I wanted a black one, but beggars can't be choosers. And so, but I literally had written, it was a couple of pages from this one. It was like, I own a Chevy Traverse LT black. And I have an LT. So it's kind of funny. 7 months. Yeah, 7 months. It is March 3rd. So 7 months from this date that I wrote this, that I married my best friend. 7 months, I married my best friend on a Thursday at the beach with just my parents, his parents, and his grandparents, and my sister and my brother-in-law. That's it. That's all that was there. My kids weren't even there. And my daughter still to this day, like, beats the shit out of me. So, fast forward a little bit into the back of the book. This is now June of 2020. So and I kind of kept notes in here. It's kind of cool to kind of look back at of how paranoid I think it was, especially myself, of kind of keeping track of like numbers and how bad it was, and what's getting shut down and what we can do and what stage we're in. And so this is the middle of June. This is shortly after my husband's birthday in 2020. I had written on here that I work full time for the charter boat company. I didn't at the time. I would by November. I started in November. Well, actually the end of November, beginning December. So I bought a house in Seaford. We were at the time looking, but being 2020, there wasn't a whole lot of things on the market. And if it was, it went quickly. So we were having a hell of a time finding anything. And so it's so crazy. It's like a month and a half later, we had signed a contract, gotten through all the contingencies, and signed a loan and moved in. So that went warp speed. Some of these things, like it's like at the beginning of 2019, I was writing, I have all 4 kids in York County, and that didn't happen until 2022. So some of these things happened pretty quick, like a month and a half, and some of these things happened, it took some time, because, and this is me in what I believe, take it or leave it. So I believe when you put something out there, there's either a straight shot or it has to kind of maneuver through and align the pieces. And some of those pieces, it takes a while. Like moving, getting Gary and Isla into York County, it wasn't just, hey, we're taking the kids and they need to go to York County. It was, there was a lot of things. That's not my story to tell. There was a lot of things that had to go on, and some of them were not good, but in the long term, it was better for Gary and Isla. And now we have them here in York County. So to make a long story short, I think, and I want to write that again. So I hadn't written it in here. Like I had gone through a whole 2 years without writing it again. And so on one fatal whim of a day, back at the beginning, March 3rd. Okay, do you see the irony? Like me just going, I'm living this real time. Like, okay, March 3rd in 2022, I had written that I have all 4 kids in York County schools. And I wrote that on there just like if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I would really, really like it to happen. And I put it on there. But I hadn't written it in several pages before then, and I didn't write it in any of the pages after that. I just put it out there in pink pen, and all the other pages are in blue or black. And within, I think it was 3 months from that, we found out that Gary and I were moving back here. And so it was pretty cool. So with manifesting and how I do it, you have to know what you want. That's the biggest thing. Because if you're indecisive, the universe doesn't know what to send you. So you really need to know specifically what you want. And so you have to visualize that. And then you need to write down, 5 things, 5 goals. Okay. Just take 5. Take an easy number. And sometimes people will write a whole freaking bucket list, hundreds and hundreds of things. I ain't got time for that. I do 10. Sometimes I don't even write all 10. But you write down, just start with 5 and write them as if they already happened. I have all 4 kids in York County. And so back then that sounded weird for me to say because I didn't. And so it's like, saying something as if it's already happened rewires your brain into thinking and rewires the universe into thinking, okay, all right, so if it's already happened, then I'm behind and I need to make it happen. but you also have to believe. That's the biggest kicker. Some people would be like, I'm a billionaire. And it's like, girl, you have a hard time, thinking about $20 on the street, much less being a billionaire. So, if that sounds audacious, what doesn't sound too audacious? I have $100,000. Does that sound too scary? And then dial it back, okay, so if you think that I have $20, I have $20. Does that sound scary? Okay, well then work your way back from there. And to find that confidence and find that faith and that the universe and whomever will provide. My other tip in that is the gratitude. You cannot expect for the universe to provide if you're not grateful for what you have. And that's hard, especially when you're like, there's another bill and there's another bill and there's another bill and the kids are beating the shit out of each other and I just want fucking 5 minutes apiece and like, oh my God. So it's really hard. So to take a step back and to every day I start off with looking back at the last 24 hours and being like, wow, that's so cool. I always put on my list, I'm thankful. I'm going to get emotional. My husband brought me a cup of coffee. There is a hair on my face. Get away. It's the devil. It's the devil trying to mess with me. So every day I write down that I am thankful that my husband brought me a cup of coffee. Now there are some days where I'm like, there's even some days that I wrote back in here and was like, I'm thankful I made myself a cup of coffee, because it's like, okay, you were mad at your husband, but every morning my husband brings me a cup of coffee. I'm spoiled. But that's something I write down because it did happen in the last 24 hours and I am thankful for that. And every time I think about that, it's like, so you got to get in the right mindset of being thankful for the things you have. So doing a daily gratitude journal. I write down 5 things that have happened within the last 24 hours that I'm very specific about and that I'm very thankful for. Just for an example, because if you can't relate, you're not going to get it. And so this was Valentine's Day of this year. I was thankful for the bus being on time in the morning because that is a very big blessing. My quiet meditation time, a good night's sleep, which rarely happens, my super hot shower because it was freezing cold in February, and coffee in bed with my husband. So, and that changes your mindset of being thankful and looking at thankful. If you go to, expecting the next day, you're okay, I got to write down 5 things that I'm thankful for. Okay, think about, all right, look at right now where you're at, even if you're driving. Okay, just be careful. Obviously, don't rubberneck and try to look for something. Look for 5 things that are red. Go. You're looking. There's that red car, there's a red shirt, there's a red shoe, there's a red box. You found 5 things, right? Very easily. And even some of those things aren't necessarily red, they're hues of red, but they still count. In my eyes, your eyes, they're red, right? You weren't really looking for blue. You weren't looking for gray. You weren't looking for any. You were looking for red. And so when you're looking for things that you're grateful for, things that you're grateful for will show up. I promise you. It's going to take a minute for you to get into that mindset, especially when things are shit. Girl, I could preach it. Boy in the back. I know. Hey, I know there's some dudes that listen to this shit, okay? But it's really hard to look for things that you're grateful for when there is so much shit. Preach it. Trust me. Just set out to do that every morning. And it doesn't have to be in these fancy notebooks that Rachel, I don't even think she sells them anymore. Regular spiral notebook, a piece of paper. It could be a notepad. It could be one of these little stickies, Post-it notes. It doesn't matter. 5 things every morning. Do for 2 weeks. See where you're at in 2 weeks. And see if you start noticing more things that you're grateful for. And then once you get in that habit, Okay, what do you want? That's a big question. And I hate it when people ask me that because I have a hard time knowing what I want because I'm so focused on what everybody else wants. But when I get my time and I'm quiet, I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what I want. And so I write it down and I close up my book and I'm quiet. If it happens, it happens. It doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm so thankful for the things that I've got that it doesn't matter if it happens because I have so many blessings. Like, you know, those people that are like, oh my God, I am just so blessed, and you want to punch them in the face. That's what I want you to have. I want you to be so blessed that people want to punch you in the face and you're just oozing blessedness all over. Like, you look at yourself in the mirror and you want to punch yourself in the face. Like, that's how blessed I want you to be. You are that blessed. You just need to see it. And then write down the things that you want and let it go and have faith. That's it. There's no secrets. That's it. I read this book listened to this book. It's Audible. The last law of attraction book you'll ever need to read. Law of attraction is fancy term for manifestation. It's like the law of gravity, it's literally a law. It's cosmic. I don't know who, but the law of attraction. If you believe it, you will receive it. Try it out. Just do something small. Be like, all right, universe, $20. Just send me $20. Show me $20. $20. $20, $20, $20, $20, $20, and just $20. And see what happens. I would love to hear your stories of success. I would love to hear your things that you're working through. I would love to hear your questions. I would love to hear from you. So if you have something you want to talk about, or if you want to just, message me and send me your awesome story of how you got $20 or $27 or $37, or you got that check from grandma for $12.50, hey, that counts. Okay. Checks from grandma always count, okay? And they always come in the mail. And grandma lives right around the corner. It's so crazy. But you can message me on Facebook, on Instagram, or you can go to my website at chaoticcompass.com and I have a contact page there. I'd love to hear from you. So I hope you all are doing well. This is an actual upbeat one, and usually I bitch and I sip about all the things. I'm bitching about how a lot of people don't know what manifesting is. So we're navigating through that today. So I appreciate you tuning in and have a great night, guys.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate all of your love and support. If you really loved today's episode, you should subscribe. And if you subscribe, then you get notifications of when my next episode launches. So another way to be super awesome would be to leave a rating and review or recommend it to your friends and family. If you're wicked awesome, you've already done all three. Another way to keep up with me and my crazy family is check out my website at chaoticcompass.com, and I do blog and other stuff there. So I appreciate everything for you guys. I do this for you, so keep it up, because the more you subscribe, the more I do.